I'm here with Jay Stinnett, the host of the Sedona Recovery Series. He's also the author of Loving Sober, a field guide to true spiritual intimacy. And he teaches a retreat by the same name, Loving Sober, with his wife, Adele Shea. Welcome, Jay.
Hi, Patty. It's great to be with you today.
So this sounds like a very interesting recovery series and not your run-of-the-mill recovery series.
Patty, I've really enjoyed being an active and involved in recovery for over 35 years. And I've been comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable that entire time.
Can you say that 3 times?
I can, again, very well. Comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. When I came to the Sedona Mago retreat, one of the things that I wanted to do was to use this incredibly powerful location as a place where people can not only get spiritual information that maybe they can't get anyplace else, but process things, learn things, and really have the opportunity to stretch and grow their body, their mind, and their spirit.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the names of the retreats, they're very intriguing. Beyond Belief, Buddhism in the 12 Steps, and Spirit Stalks. So they all definitely have a spiritual bend to them.
Right. The recovery process is spiritual. There isn't anything else to it. And so one of the things that's really engaging is to go out and find new information, to learn from different dynamic people that are out there that have true experience in recovering or in exploring different areas. For example, the most popular retreat we have is the Symposium on AA History. And we bring in historians from all over the United States who are working on different projects to share what they've found in primary research about the history of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's a remarkable, remarkable event. The real senior member of the AA historians is a gentleman by the name of Ernest Kurtz. Ernest Kurtz wrote a book called Not God, History of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I asked my friend Ernie, I said, Ernie, if I could do anything for the fellowship as far as getting information, what would you suggest I do? And he said, get a hold of Joe C. up in Toronto. He's written a remarkable book called Beyond Belief, Musings for Atheists and Agnostics on the 12-Step Path. And so I got a hold of Joe, and he actually is coming to join us in September to lead a retreat for atheists and agnostics on the 12-Step Path. I think it's going to be a tremendous experience for anyone.
That is so interesting, because one of the 12 steps, of course, is the belief in a higher power. Isn't that one of the, what would you call it, tenets of AA?
The great thing about the 12 steps is that they allow people to define a power greater than themselves in any way that they wish or they don't wish. And so within that framework, we have another gentleman coming in September, Kevin Griffin, who wrote the seminal book, One Breath at a Time, Buddhism and the 12 Steps. Now, Buddhism does not believe in what we would call a classic higher power. Mm-hmm. It's not a Christian-based or, say, a theistic-based practice. And so a Buddhist practice could literally be called an atheist or an agnostic by somebody that was in a classical Christian.
That's very interesting.
So we have 2 retreats here that allow people to take a look at spiritual development. Now, what is spiritual development? Well, it doesn't have to have anything to do with the use of the word God or any particular attribution of that. Mm-hmm. So we're encouraging people to take a look. Kevin led this retreat here a couple of years ago, and it was really, really stimulating. It was a marvelous, marvelous thing. Because I've had the good fortune of knowing many people that have gone all around the world encouraging people to get on the 12-step path. We have this program in October called Spirit Stock. And in Spirit Stock, we have Mildred F. from Toronto. We have Howard P. from Gilbert, Arizona. We have Sharon C. from Los Angeles, Adele S. from Sedona, Matthew M. from Gig Harbor, Washington, who will all be talking about their spiritual evolution in the 20, 30, 40 years that they've been involved in the fellowships, and how it is that they've actually come up against the different things that people do in their lives and been able to keep some kind of a conscious contact with whatever the power is, and how it is that they accessed it when they had 5 years, when they had 10 years, when they had 15 years.
So they're really giving back.
Absolutely. And one of the great things is that they'll be teaching ways that they got through different situations.
That's great. Now, so does it matter how long a person has been sober? Are these for beginners, or is it just for anybody who's on the recovery path?
Well, one of the things about it being the recovery series is that it's open to anyone that is involved with any of the different 12-step organizations, of which there are about 225.
Wow.
It's for anybody that would like to be encouraged along the path. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I really need to mention about these programs is that many of these folks that are coming here, when you go to hear them talk, it'll be to groups of anywhere from 200 to 1,500 to 3,000 in a weekend setting. And you'll hear them talk for maybe an hour or so. In these programs, in the Sedona Recovery Series, there are going to be 80 to 100 people maximum. Some of the programs will be 3 or 4 dozen. And so what you'll have is you'll have real access to these people. You'll be able to ask questions. It's a real different type of weekend event.
How wonderful. That really just sounds so special. Now, before I let you go, I want you to talk a little bit about the series that you lead.
Oh, Loving Sober. Yeah. Well, in my time in the fellowships, one of the things that has been really enjoyable for me is watching my own foibles.
You have some? It's hard to believe.
And, of course, no place is one able to really see how one's spiritual practice is except in one's primary relationship.
Sure.
And, of course, we don't get much instruction about that. We're basically raised by wolves to go out and hunt them down. And even when I've been involved with churches or different spiritual seeking groups, we never got any practical instruction on how is it that a couple can develop a mutual practice. In most relationships, there's one person that maybe has more of a bent than the other.
Sure.
And so I've got mine, you've got yours, but we may meet and go to an organization or to something the same once a week or twice a week together, but we don't have a daily practice. And so what Adele and I found was, and the real difference between my first and my second marriage was having a daily spiritual practice together. That's
lovely.
And how do you do that? And really, it's very, very simple, but it takes a little getting used to. You know, physical intimacy is fairly easy for most of us. Then we get into an emotional intimacy. But how do we become spiritually intimate? And really, the simple thing of sitting in silence together for 3 minutes a day, doing a little bit of reading, is an incredible launching point. Adele and my experience is that on the days that we don't meditate together, I might slip into treating her like somebody else. The benefit of having a daily spiritual practice together is that when I do that, I always remember who my wife is. And who she is she's my biggest cheerleader. She's my greatest supporter. She wants better for me than I want for myself. And I can forget that. You know, I can just blow that off during the course of a regular day. I'll forget, and suddenly I'm thinking or maybe acting in ways that aren't kind, generous, and patient. That's the keel of Loving Sober.
So if people wanted to learn about the retreats or review the dates and what they're about, they would go to the Sedona Mago Retreat website and click on
programs, and the Sedona Recovery Series are all listed there. And then we also have a Facebook page called the Sedona Recovery Series Facebook page. Come there and like us. I do little video talks and the like there. And you're also welcome to call me. You can either email me at j@sedonamago.com Sedona Mago, MAGO retreat.org, or you can call me at 928-202-2672. And I'd be delighted to talk to anybody about this fascinating, exciting, and enjoyable series of things to really stretch your heart and mind.
And Jay really walks the walk. I never see him without a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to talk to you today, Jay.
Well, when you live in the fourth dimension instead of three, it's a lot easier to be twinkly.
I bet. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.